It's my honor and privilege to present a global eye sight for the world, in which we're inspiring us all to utilize our special, unique talents and skills as opticians to give back to the world. Ever since you woke up today and experienced the world, 80% of your experience has been through your visual sense. And especially in this tumultuous time with the pandemic, what opticians can offer to the world and help people who have lost their jobs or to become retrained. It's going to be so important for us to utilize our skills and talents to help those people fulfill a new and better future. We're really blessed to be able to tell you this, share with you this story today. And I have a group of live panelists. I call them the 3M group. We have Mary Seguiti, Mary Brown, and Minerva Maldonado with us, who will share live with you their stories of how they've utilized their opticianry skills and given back to their local and international community, providing glasses to the vision needy populations that they serve. We're also in this class going to hear from many opticians from across the country who have passionately given of their time and their efforts and their talents to do the same. So without any further ado, let's start with Mary Seguiti. Mary, welcome to our presentation this afternoon, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Blair, so much. And thank you to the OAA for this opportunity. And I think anytime Blair asks you to do something, it's just a treat to get to partner with him. So I'm very grateful. I am the program director at Hillsborough Community College Opticianry Program and have worked a lot on different missions internationally and nationally. So I'm just going to kind of share my experiences with all of you. So let me just share my screen here. And why do we do this? Why are we wanting to do this? As Blair mentioned, you know, it's really to just give back and help people. So this is one of my favorite little pictures that I wanted to start with. And this was the cutest young Jamaican boy when we were down there with a group of students on one of my eye care missions. And it was really the first time he had ever received a pair of glasses. And it's like a little short, let me see if I can play this. It's like a little. So you see him, it's a little short video, and he's looking in a little mirror that we had there when he got his new glasses, because we were able to make them on the spot for him there. And he was just so delighted in actually having clear vision for the first time maybe in his life. So truly that is why we do this. And that's why we try and partner with as many people as we can. So for me, it's like, wow, who do I partner with? So I look at this OAA and bringing everybody in here and all the students and everything else. And gosh, that is just so important, because it's really hard to just do one of this by yourself, right? Mm-hmm. So with the OAA, certainly the Vision of Hope has helped me bring students on some of these mission trips. Two of the groups that I work with a lot is Eye Care with Great Shape. And to date, we've brought close to 100 students on international missions to help people. And that's just a great thing for me. And also Sight is a Right, which is another nonprofit volunteer group that does international trips. And they've gone to Peru and Mexico. They're doing another trip this year. This has been a hard year for people because we haven't been able to even get out and volunteer like we want. But they are doing another trip this year. 2020 was a very slow year and not much there, but they're doing a trip to the Yucatan. We partner at my college with the Lions Eye Institute, and through them, the Essler Vision Foundation, and go out and provide glasses to all the Title I schools in the area. Certainly, I'm grateful because I have the support from my college, Hillsborough Community College, and our Student Government Association. But through that, we partner with the Foundation Fighting Blindness. I know I'm really lucky to present both with Mary and Minerva today, but Mary's going to be talking about the remote area clinic. We partner there as well too. Hopefully someday we can partner even more. You know, we just have students that volunteer when they can. Also the Special Olympics. And then we do with our own Professional Opticians of Florida. We're grateful to have such a strong association, and they really support our students, and in turn, our students give back and support them. The president of the Professional Opticians of Florida, Atala Valdez, is president, and she's one of our past students. So how nice is that? Mm-hmm. And one thing that I've done recently is volunteered with the Medical Reserve Corps. And that is, it's been hard to get out and do some of the eye care missions we want, but now we're getting out and we're providing vaccines. And in turn, that's going to help everybody, because then we can keep moving forward with providing more care for everyone. So some of the different things that we've done, we partner with the Special Olympics. They also have another location up in Jacksonville that we do. They have regular exams every month. They come and bring the Special Olympics in and provide eyeglasses and full exams. When they have one of their big events in Florida, we go. I've had my students, part of what I do, I have a class that's a service learning class. So students have to do some service learning. But once they do, they continue going back and they really travel all over the state with them. And it's just so touching and rewarding working with these lovely children. And just more. And we do everything from the visual testings, check their glasses. There's an OD doing the refractions, and we fit them with new glasses and move on from there. One other thing is it's hard because so we work locally, nationally, and then internationally. And as I said, I've brought like 100 students on international missions, but here's just my regular students on campus working. Our ophthalmic lab fabricates glasses and sends to different missions. These students are all tagging, neutralizing glasses and doing that. And they even just off the cuff started this cute little short song that I think is lovely and it's touching. So.
Hard at work in Jamaica.
Okay.
Home from
Jamaica where the nights are gay and the sunshine shining on the mountaintop. We're making glasses for you guys so you can see the sun when it rises up. Oh, we're happy to say we're on our way so you can see.
So that's where you see you don't necessarily have to travel. Sometimes you might not to be. It's a big, it's a big undertaking doing that. Here's one of our teams down in Jamaica back in 2017. Some of them even from the OAA, Andy and Tom, and down there we had a whole dispensary that we set up there. These are all the patients that come in and sit and wait, and then you have to get their prescriptions, and there's so much critical thinking trying to figure out how to help them the best that we possibly can. We have edgers that we have down there. So we work from a library that's provided with glasses that are already made up. Then we also have custom glasses that we'll do right there. And then if we don't have their prescription anywhere, then we actually bring glasses back. And I have students that have gone back even on those to bring glasses back, which has been lovely. Here again, when we go down there, we bring books and toys for all the students. And here these cute little girl had a book, Douglas, You Need Glasses. And then just helping little babies. We found one with amblyopia, and then the other kids as they come in. It's just so touching and rewarding. And what you get out of it is all these happy faces, and they love you. They pray for you. You pray for them. There's tears every day, but they're always good tears. There's tears because you're helping people and you're making them see maybe sometimes for the first time. And of course, the children are just absolutely the cutest things that are going there. Everyone that comes in these, we have a clinic that we set up with 40 professionals from North America, and many of them have never even worked together. And we have ophthalmology, optometry, opticianry, nurses, the whole slew. So we at least provide everybody with sunglasses or reading glasses, and then we provide everyone that needs a prescription with prescription eyeglasses. So back 5-6 years ago, I was at an OAA meeting similar to this, a Breakout. And so this is a goal for you guys today too. When you finish, I want everybody to get like a little piece of paper and kind of set your goals for what you want to do moving forward. So back 6 years ago, mine was to really instill in new upcoming opticians that desire to give back, because I find that once people do it once, they're just hooked for life and they just keep going and going. So, you know, I've recorded maybe 7,000 community service hours with my students, but the hours go well beyond that because they just continue to do it over and over again. So I'm always working on that. It's a continued goal that I have. So I'd like to see what yours are. And then in a few years, we can revisit them. And then I'll really just finish with my favorite quote. And that's helping one person might not change the whole world, but it could change the world for one person. And that's what it's all about. If we can change the world, even for just one, wow, we've done a good job. So, but I know we can change it for many. So thank you guys for letting me share my stories.
That's awesome, Mary. You know, and I love that quote, you know, and you may change the world for just that one person, but that one person now, because they have the vision to be able to read, to be able to study, to become a doctor, you never know how many more people that one person will affect and change the lives of so many others. So thank you so much for all your good work in this area and sharing your story.
Thanks, Blair.
Before we move on to our next panelist, Kyle, you have a video for us to share that was sent to us from different opticians from across the country. Kyle, can you share that first video?
Hello, my name is Ron Harbert, owner of Charleston Vision Center and president of South Carolina Association of Opticians.
My name is Brad Dees. I'm a 1993 graduate of DeKalb Technical College.
Hi, I'm Heather Godinez, and I'm a licensed optician for LDR Vision Foundation. I developed my passion for helping the vision needy when I was 10 years old, and my sister came home with glasses and was crying. She didn't like her glasses, and my parents had picked them out, and I made them promise me after that they would never, ever go to buy her glasses without me there, so I could make sure that didn't happen again.
I graduated in 1993 and also received the National Academy of Opticianry Research Paper Beverly Myers Award for my research paper, Volunteering for Better Vision. Volunteering for Better Vision came after I had done community service in Belize, Poland, and Costa Rica. Next 3 sessions that I had done vision service projects both in Honduras, 2 clinics there, Haiti, 2 clinics there, and Nassau, Bahamas, 1 clinic there.
In 2018, the OA Leadership Conference was coming to Charleston. Vision of Hope asked if I would participate in their mission in Charleston. We saw 54 patients and fitted 51 pairs of glasses. We should have been able to do twice that amount if we had known how easy it was going to go.
We have an amazing program called Kids Vision for Life, where we utilize mobile clinics in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to provide full comprehensive eye exams and glasses to children in need, directly to their schools.
It is very rewarding because we were the lucky ones to be able to experience the appreciation these people have when they pick up their new glasses and they're able to see. One memory I have is of a lady who had been wearing a broken pair of glasses for over 20 years. When she got her new ones and she was able to see, she started crying and giving everyone hugs. I challenge all state societies to help grow the Vision of Hope when leadership is coming to your state. Thank you, Vision of Hope, for allowing me to participate in your experience.
The very first time I got to see a child's face light up. She was 7 years old and she was crying when I was trying to help her pick out her frames. That was hard, trying to talk her into this is a good thing. The best part is when I brought those glasses back to her school to deliver them to her, and I put them on her face, and she took a look around the room very reluctantly, then looked back at me and thanked me. After that, I knew that I had found my calling and what really, really matters, making a difference, helping each child be their best. And if they can't see, they can't do well. So it's my honor and privilege to be able to participate with this program and being an optician. Thank you.
You know, I just love these stories, and I love being an optician and giving back to you know, the vision needy populations that we serve. And certainly we can change people's lives simply with a pair of glasses. I'd like to introduce our next panelist. Her name is Mary Brown, and she is the volunteer director for Remote Access Medical. And Mary, welcome, and thank you so much for sharing your story with us today.
Thank you, Blair, and thank you for having me on today. I'd like to thank everyone at the OAA for inviting me. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I am the volunteer manager for RAM, and it's funny because I came to RAM because my father was an eye doctor for over 50 years. And when my daddy retired, he donated everything, about 3,000 pair of frames and a whole bunch of his hand tools and things like that to remote area medical. And from that time on, there I was, somebody who was involved with RAM. I started volunteering with him many years ago and then came on staff full-time almost 4 years ago. I'd like to share my screen now and tell you a little bit more about RAM. Remote Area Medical's mission is very simple. It's to prevent pain and alleviate suffering by providing free quality health care to those in need. You guys might recognize our founder, Stan Brock. Mr. Brock was born in England and as a small child was taken to the bomb shelters every night during World War II. When he was 16 years old, his father, who worked for the British government, was given a job in British Guiana, which is now Guyana, South America. That when Mr. Brock traveled there to be with his parents, he found a job on a ranch, a vast cattle ranch called the Datanawa. There he came across a different way of life from what he had had in England. He was on a place where there were 50,000 head of cattle and about 10,000 horses, and all the people there were Amur Indians, or vaqueros as they were called. They taught him how to ride horses, and he soon became the boss of the entire ranch. And there he learned everything you could want to know about animals, both wild animals and tame animals as well. He's going to tell you a little story now about what made him think to start Remote Area Medical.
I was having breakfast with Captain Ed Mitchell, who was the sixth man to walk on the moon. He asked me, what made you start this operation called Remote Area Medical? It goes back to way back in the middle of the last century, 1950, and I was a young cowboy on a vast cattle operation where all the cowboys were Indians. They gave me a wild horse to ride, a horse called Kang. Kang was a Wapishana Indian name that meant the devil. And Kang had already killed 2 other cowboys, and so I was sort of the next one in line. So we lassoed Kang in the corral and tied him up to a post and put on our rudimentary saddle. In fact, if some of you may have an opportunity to see that very same saddle in my little office in the front of the building here. I climbed on board, pulled off the blindfold, and Kang went bucking across the savannah and had a head-on collision with the side of the corral. And I was very badly injured. And the cowboys, who were all Indians, pulled me out from underneath the horse, and one of them said, well, the nearest doctor is 26 days on foot from here through that narrow trail through the rainforest where you couldn't take horses. When I told astronaut Ed Mitchell that story, he said, gosh, he said, I was on the moon and I was only 3 days from the nearest doctor. You know, for the people that lived in that neck of the woods, and indeed many, many people who live right here in the United States,
don't have access to healthcare, they might as well be on the moon. That was sort of the what prompted me, that sort of kick in the head by a wild horse that said to me, maybe we ought to bring these doctors a little bit closer, and we've done that.
Stan made a promise to the Wapashana Indians that if he ever became wealthy or got money, that he would take care of them and send back doctors to come to the region to work. And he always said that Ram is the way that he kept that promise, not only to the Wapashana Indians, but to thousands of others around the world in similar health conditions. In other words, there were Wapashanas everywhere. So when Mr. Brock had lived on the Datanawa, he was seeing people, women die during childbirth, children die from a sticker in their foot and get an infection, toothaches, and one in particular guy who died on the trail of influenza. So he sent off for medical books and trained himself really how to become a physician. He birthed babies and sewed people up and set broken arms. And people started in Great Britain, where he was from, started hearing about this guy that they called the British Tarzan or the British Medicine Man. And so a TV show in the United States called Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, which all of us watched on Sunday nights, came, and they actually came down to the Datanawa and asked if they could watch him and film him as he did his daily work there with the cattle and with the other animals. And he had quite a following of animals. People would bring him baby jaguars, and he had a pet tapir, which was called Tiny, and it weighed about 300 pounds, and it would walk up the stairs and everything with him. And he was just a really nice guy. But he never, ever forgot all the trouble and things that happened down at the Datanawa, because there was no physicians, there was no running water, there were no bathrooms, there was no electricity. It was just people living like they did 100 or 200 years ago, even here in the United States. He made a great deal of money at Wild Kingdom, had about 33 million viewers every Sunday night. And so he decided when he was a little over 50 years old that he would sell all of his worldly possessions and take a vow of poverty to start Remote Area Medical. His first expedition was just over the border of Mexico. They flew in there, took horses up to the top of a mountain, hiked the rest of the way up, and there they treated patients. Not one patient in that small village had ever seen a doctor or a nurse or a dentist. So they were very well received. Now we have an air ambulance, just as he promised, in Guyana, that flies doctors out of the region, or doctors into the region, to treat people who are sick. And like the young boy there that's got the cast on his leg, he had been flown to a hospital in a larger city to be taken care of. We also have women's health down in Guyana. And then we do international and U.S. missions, as well as disaster missions, to help people. You know, we all know what happened last year, though. It kind of slowed us down just a little bit as COVID-19 came in and kind of changed things. But now at all of our clinics, we make sure everyone is screened prior to entry. We ask everybody the CDC questions, and then we do temperature checks to make sure everybody's safe. We social distance, and we don't allow guests to come in except for a parent with a child or someone assisting someone with a wheelchair. We do have big precautions that are in place. You see in the picture on the left, before COVID-19, people could stand around and talk without masks. Now they're all spread out, even the patients, and our dental operatories are all in a tent that has a HEPA filtration system to help it work and clean the air. Now, you might be wondering about Opticians. You betcha. We have mobile finishing labs that we take with us where we can produce glasses on site. We use Santinelli edgers, and we have everything you could need to make glasses on site, including the frames and the lenses. And you see in our dispensing area now, we set up the tables with the glasses, and everybody wears masks, and each pair of glasses is cleaned in between. How can opticians and the OAA make a difference? Share our mission. Come and serve with us at clinics. Come and work in our mobile finishing lab or in dispensing. We need people in vision support as well as translators and guides, and you can earn service hours towards graduation. It's easy to volunteer with us. Go to ramusa.org and click on the red volunteer button at the top right. Since we were founded in 1985, we've treated over 863,000 people with over $174 million worth of care. And we have over 172,000 volunteers that work with us. Mr. Brock always said that we believe when together we treat a patient, we can change their life. When we treat hundreds of patients, we transform a community. And when we transform communities, we can change the health of our nation, one mobile clinic at a time. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, Mary Brown at ramusa.org. And if you want to volunteer, please visit our site, ramusa.org. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mary, for sharing that story. And it's interesting that I believe it was your, what's that?
I'm here.
Oh, that your current COO is an optician, is that correct?
Yes, Chris Hall is an optician. He graduated from Roane State and really enjoys teaching people about how to utilize the iLab. And I believe that you all probably all know him from several of the conventions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mary, for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Kyle, would you share our next video montage?
My name is Tom Hicks. I own Oxford Opticians in Oxford, Ohio. We've been up here for 36 years.
Hello, my name is Jennifer and I work at Charleston Vision Center in Charleston, South Carolina.
Hello everyone. It's great to be with you. Thank you so much for inviting me to your program.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Hyde and I'm with Good Vision USA.
I started volunteering by making glasses for underprivileged kids in the Oxford School District who did not qualify for Lions Clubs or other forms of assistance. Then, through the Opticians Association of America, I got heavily involved in the Vision of Hope Foundation.
I had the great opportunity to work with Ronnie Harbert and Vision of Hope to help folks get some glasses.
With income inequality worsening as a result of the pandemic, more people than ever may find it harder to get access to the vision care they need. More people may struggle to see clearly. And how many vision errors in children will remain undetected as long as in-school vision screenings don't happen? With the changes underway, now seems to be a good time to share with you my experiences as a volunteer optician at the Worcester Evening Free Medical Clinic, which provides eye exams and low-cost glasses to people in need in my community.
Based in Boston, but primarily we work in Africa, and specifically in the country of Liberia, to provide affordable eyewear to the world's most needy.
One of my trips that I got help sponsored from the Vision of Hope, I went to Jamaica. And while there, I did all the cutting and edging of glasses.
Recently, when I was in the eyeglass store with my kids a few years ago, and I asked the optician there what they did with the used lenses and used glasses, and they said they threw them out. And I said, oh, cannot do that. There's so many people that need glasses around the world. So that sort of led into the current work that I do, which is working with a nonprofit, $1 glasses. I've also traveled to Haiti on several occasions with Vosh International. And these trips, they really, really welcome opticians. They're super happy to have them. I'm sure as soon as it's safe to do so, there will be those kind of opportunities.
Opticians in the first years of the clinic etched the lenses using patterns and rotated in a weekly schedule to take orders and dispense glasses. Free eye exams were offered 2 nights a month on a first-come, first-served basis.
I can remember a very elderly gentleman who wore a pair of glasses that was so scratched up you could barely see through them. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, if this pair of glasses, which provide such little correction for him really, can be of such value to him that he wears them. Just think how important glasses are to people, and people in that kind of situation in remote villages really don't have access to glasses at all.
It was a great honor to help a man who was in a -10, who was homeless, and who could not work because his lenses had chunks missing from them. We were able to get him new glasses, and I know because I found out through him being here that I had gone to elementary school with him, that he was able to find work and change his circumstances. It's a beautiful thing to know that we can touch so many lives and help them change.
One key reason for the long-term success of the clinic is having a solid group of dedicated volunteers. It truly takes a village to run a good program.
One time when I finished a pair of glasses for this 8-year-old boy and we put him on his face, he started running around the courtyard of the church where we were working. He kept running around and looking in amazement at everything. And as he came back and jumped up on the cement slab, he looked up at his mom and he said, "Mom, that's what you look like." Although he had seen his mother's face, he had never seen it in that kind of detail. That's what doing volunteer mission work is all about. It's not what you do for yourself that will be your legacy. It's what you do for others that will always be remembered.
I just love hearing those stories, and grateful that Minerva Maldonado is our third panelist here live to share her recent involvement in mission work and what has inspired her as a recent graduate of an optician program in Connecticut and a graduate of our Student to Leadership program. Welcome, Minerva, and thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, Blair. Thanks so much for having me. I'm very excited to talk about my mission experiences because I'm relatively new to mission work. I'm not as established as like either of the Marys, but I hope to be to do a lot. So I've kind of been all over the place in the mission work because I graduated from Middlesex Community College in Connecticut back in 2019, but I started mission work back in 2018. So I'll tell you a little bit about that later, but currently I'm working with $1 glasses, which is going through a name change. They're going to be called Good Vision USA now. And then I'm also on the board of directors for Vision of Hope. And those were two things that I started last year back in 2020. So for $1 glasses, I'm part of the retail optical team. So it's our job to get donations from optical stores who participate in our optical retail program. And then I'm on the board of directors for Vision of Hope. So everything I do is really remote. It's not really set in a location. So everything with $1 glasses over email, Microsoft Teams, same thing with Vision of Hope right now. Everything's via email or like Zoom. And I really got involved with mission work through the college. So when I was in the college, we had a mission trip in 2018. It was my second year, and it was for a program called Native Eyes. And actually, I'll share the screen with you and talk a little bit about that. Let's see. All right. Perfect. So let me actually go back because I'm on the wrong slide. I'm on the wrong slide. Sorry. But let's talk about Native Eyes 2018. So Native Eyes was actually my very, very first mission trip that got me inspired into doing mission work. But before I did opticianry, I was actually going through a master's in secondary ed. I was accepted to a teaching program because I was going to be a teacher before I did this because I had a passion for helping people. And I kind of went into opticianry after I put off grad school, after I was accepted. And I started to do opticianry, and instead of focusing my passion into education, I started to focus my passion more towards helping the needy, but still wanting to teach and do something that was worthwhile to help others. So my first mission trip involved 2018 was Native Eyes. So in Connecticut, we do have Native American reservations here because we do have this was over by like one of the casinos. So we helped the Eastern Pequot Nation. They had a Native Eyes trip that's actually done through a program called Artists for World Peace. And they had invited our school to come do their free eye clinic to help out, to help us, you know, practice doing our measurements and everything else. And it was a 2-day event. I only got to attend one of the days because I had to work on the weekend. And it was a very good experience. It was in Uncasville, Connecticut. And this is a picture of the group that went and helped out. And what we did was we didn't participate in helping, you know, set everything up for like the eye exam portion, but we did do measurements for eyeglasses and everything. And they were so appreciative. We had people come in to the location, which was actually indoors. It was Total Vision Eye Care. And these were some of the people who came in, some of like the tribal leaders who were there. And then we had families and other people come in, and you wouldn't think like in Connecticut that there would be so much need for them to have, especially for vision, but we did get, at least I think it was over 100 people come down within the 2 days to get glasses. And that was actually really important. That's where I started realizing, you know, I really like this. This is something that I really want to do more of. So then in spring of 2019, I was chosen from my class to be part of a mission trip to go to Ecuador. This was actually inside the clinic for Total Vision, where we did the eye exam for the natives. So the next trip that I had was a couple months later, was going to Ecuador in April. And this was through the school. I got randomly chosen, and it was great. It was actually through 2 groups that had partnered with the school and with our professor, Ray Dennis. And one of the groups was Partners for Andean Community Health, and their overall goal is to provide healthcare and community services for people in the Andes. And another group, which is FIBUSPAN, which is a really, really long abbreviation. So it's Fundación Internacional Buen Samaritano Paul Martel. So that's basically the International Foundation of the Good Samaritan Paul Martel. For those who don't know Spanish, because I'm fluent in Spanish, it was my first language. So this was actually great because I spoke Spanish, and they were so appreciative of that, because this was the headquarters of FIBUSPAM, the clinic, and they provide their one of the most well-equipped health facilities in Ecuador. They were founded back in 2007, and they provide 14 different medical specialties. It's a very small, it looks really small, but it's pretty decent size for Ecuador because everything is so small there. And it was just, you know, and overall it was an amazing trip. So this is me and my classmate and my professor, Ray Dennis, who went on the trip. We traveled with a couple other people. Luckily, Yvonne also knows Spanish, so that was a plus to help everybody else out, because you're going to a whole nother country where not everybody, you know, speaks English, or, you know, who's ever going with you might not speak the language, and it makes people feel more comfortable. And this is just like some of like how beautiful and vast like the scenery. So you have a lot of country and you have very great scenery, but then you also have the poverty aspect of it. So you'll see some really great, amazing parts, and then you'll see a lot of poverty. And then you could see like, wow, there's people, you know, who really need glasses, because in a lot of the country, they couldn't get out into the city to get eye exams. And there was no transportation. I was just like horrible. You wonder, well, wow, this is amazing. This is why people need us to be here, because they can't go to the places to get glasses. And what I saw is that it's not our version of expensive to get glasses there. We drove by an optical, and an eye exam was $49 for an eye exam, and glasses were very inexpensive, but to them that's a lot of money. Not like here, some people could actually afford a $49 eye exam. And it was just so interesting to see like the big difference in another country as far as like glasses, and everything was very, the problem was there wasn't a lot of places to set up. Some places we had no electricity. There was no heat. You would think, you know, it's not warm there all the time. The mornings were very, very cold. You had to have on a hoodie, a scarf. It got very, very cold in the mornings. You didn't have heat to turn on, like, you know, your frame warmer, use some of the equipment. So we had to have like generators and stuff to help us when we went to remote places, or we have to have tents and things set up to block out the light. So, you know, you do your work. These were some of the community centers that we went with. So, you know, when you go on mission trips, sometimes you don't always get the best of everything. You always have to prepare. You might not have a bathroom. You might have to go outdoors. You're not always going to have like a building or a location. You have to improvise. And, you know, that's one of the things you're not expecting versus like the trip in Connecticut. Okay, we had a bathroom, we had a building. Here we had buildings, they weren't well equipped. So, you know, you have to keep like an open mind that, you know, what you're doing is really helping other people, even if, you know, the circumstances aren't exactly ideal. You can have to prepare to deal with it. So, you know, this was our dispensing area. It wasn't as fancy as RAM, but this is what we had. We had pre-made glasses that we bought, and then we also did we did measurements and prescriptions for other specialty glasses, like, you know, high astigmatism or bifocals or things that we had to have custom made, because a lot of the people there were hyperopes and they needed plus glasses. So we would have pre-made readers to get them close enough to the correction that they needed. So some places we had a dispensing table, like you see in one of the pictures, we laid out the glasses. This was all before COVID. So, you know, we're not wearing masks or gloves, but we did have hand sanitizer and everything else. This is all before COVID in 2019. So some places we were kind of just set up just like that. If they had a table, that was it. We laid our equipment out, we did what we could. And then this was like our other dispensing table in a bigger location. So these were all the tools and everything. We bought the usual stuff that you would see, and then us dispensing, you know, to kids or adults. And it was really nice, and they appreciated, you know, that you could understand and you could explain things to them. That's what I also really liked. And here are some of the people. This is how many we had. We would start our day at 8 in the morning. We would drive out for like maybe 2 hours to go to the country. It'd be an hour and a half, 2 hours to go to like the countryside and start getting set up, do eye exams until about 4 o'clock, then travel back to Riobambo, the city where we were staying. And it was just like a very long day. Even though you were exhausted at the end of the day, you felt so good about what you did. And then you would start up again, because this trip was from April 3rd through the 10th. So we did about 6 days of this straight in a row. It'd be like, go get back home, and then you'd start all over again the next day. And this was like our registration table, people coming in. This is how we basically did part of the eye exams with the Stellan chart. And then in the black tent behind those people, that's where they also did more in-depth eye exam. And then this is how we basically did it, because we couldn't get the phoropters or everything in there. You see the lenses on the table. So this is how we had to do things. And then one last thing. So we actually did have a fun day. We went to the equator. So we actually, that's a picture of all of us at the equator. So that was actually a really fun day that we had. You know, they were just like thanking us for all that we did. So we actually got to go out and see Ecuador and things like that. So I really did enjoy that. So we had a lot of fun. I definitely learned a lot. And I would say I'm starting to get really established into doing mission trips, and I'm really hoping to do my own in Connecticut. I was hoping to one day do like a mission trip with both the colleges here in Connecticut, because there's 2 optical programs, and I really wanted to get, you know, the state societies involved and the colleges to do something for Connecticut, because there is a need for it. And what I really enjoyed is that there are a lot of humble people, you know, who welcomed us into like these communities, and they're really grateful for the services, you know, that we provide. And one of the things, because I wrote it out for a PowerPoint presentation I did, was from my experience after Ecuador and my other trip for Native Eyes, was instead of myself helping these people see, it was these people who helped me see the world in a way that I had never experienced, and showed me that the smallest actions have the largest impact. So I might not see these people again, but knowing that I was able to give them, you know, the gift of sight and give them glasses that, you know, that they're probably using and they're taking care of, so they could see and work and do whatever they need to do in their everyday life, it makes me happy. Because you know what, whether, you know, they still have them, if it was temporary, if it's permanent, I'm really glad that I'm able to do my part. And, you know, thank you so much for, you know, letting me talk about this experience, and I hope this inspires everybody to get involved.
Thank you so much, Minerva. That's truly inspirational. And thank you for your good work with good vision on that board of directors. I serve on that board of directors, as well as Jennifer Hyde, who was in the story. It's just amazing the work over there in Liberia to help people there not only get glasses, but also for the people providing them are local citizens who are being trained to be optical technicians. And it's a sustainable program. So thank you for your work there. Kyle, how are we doing? We got enough time for that last video? Great.
Hi everyone, we're Jim and Amy Schneider from Eyes of Faith. We're happy to be a part of leadership again this year. We wish we could all be together in person, but we're happy to be here with you virtually.
Absolutely, and we're going to show you a quick video about the purpose of our company. purpose is giving back in a meaningful way with mission work. So enjoy this quick video.
Hey, we are really deep in the Kenyan bush. When I tell you we're deep, it's we went to there was no road, and then there was no road and no road and no road. And we are here with Dr. Jeff from Illinois. Do you think they've ever seen an eye doctor here? There's no. We are going to do God's work here. We're going to give the gift of sight, and we hope everybody around here and miles away will walk to this church and get the gift of sight today. Next, I'd like to introduce you to my good friend Bishop Moses Tari, and I want to kind of let Bishop tell you where we're at right now.
We are at Kilonito, a small Maasai village, 172 kilometers from the big city of Nairobi.
We're here to support Bishop in his work in planting churches. And how does the eye care mission work for that?
This has been an incredible work. This has changed the lives of people who had no an opportunity or a way of accessing any eye medical care. And this has been a life, changing. I remember this one woman who got her glasses, and she literally fainted in the truck because she was so overjoyed, she even collapsed.
Hi everyone, I'm Delilah. I've teamed up with Jim and Amy and Eyes of Faith. They've designed 4 different styles of glasses like these that I am wearing, and we're selling those to raise funds for Point Hope. My charity Point Hope is building small houses in West Africa for adults who are disabled, for orphan children, for the least of these. And Jim and Amy and the folks at Eyes of Faith are helping us to do that.
We just love Delilah. Actually, during this pandemic, we have built 2 homes at the Point Hope Village with her. We don't need to send mission people there because the mission is already there working and creating bricks for these homes. We are very hopeful that we're going to start doing site ministry work again when this pandemic is over. But in the meantime, we're doing some really cool things.
Right now, we're focusing on our local community. It's something that you can do from no matter where you are. Reach out to your local school nurses. There are children in need right in your own local community. You can partner with them to get an eye exam. We can help supply you with frames, and the Escalor Vision Foundation is always ready and willing to help with prescription lenses. There's so much need right in your own local community. If you need help on how to get started, please don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Okay, wow. Well, so thank you so much to our panelists. Kyle, how are we doing on time? Are we all set, or do we have a question or two?
Blair, we are over our time, so I'm putting
We
up
are over.
in our
Let's
chat.
head on back.
to get
Thank
everybody
you,
back.
everybody. Be
Bye,
safe,
thank
be
you.
healthy.